Hi everyone. Um so yeah, I'm already in my tent and I'll explain that in the end at the end of the video what I'm doing and where I am. But let's start at the beginning. So this morning Marco had to leave at 7:30, so I told myself, well, and oh right, and he told me tomorrow we'll do breakfast together at 7. And so I was like, "Oh, that's great. Thank you. That's a great idea." So I was like, well, breakfast at 7. I usually take about 30-45 minutes to like get everything ready. So I am just going to get be let's sorry wake up at 6 so I can be extra sure I'm ready at 7. So I do. Everything's fine. I think my mattress has another puncture, so I'll have to fix that in Milan. I don't think I'm gonna fix it tonight. Actually, this grass is quite nice, so I think that's gonna be really helpful. Um, and so yeah, that was waking up, and then yeah, with Marco we talked. He came out and he asked if I wanted coffee in the morning. I was like, no, it's okay. And he's like, what about tea? Like, oh well, tea. And he's like, yeah, okay, I'll make you tea. So he does. He brings water and tea, and then he brings out a big bag of biscotti, like which are like sweet biscuits or just biscuits, I guess. And so he's like, yeah, eat, manja, manja. And so I have one, just like I would a cookie, and he's like, no, you dip it, you dip it in the tea. And so I was like, oh, okay. So yeah, I dipped it in the tea. And then we talked about just different things, and well, we talked about his house, because it's a pretty big house. It looked really big. Like I think there were about 8, 9, 10 windows like on one side, and then there was an angle, and then there was like 4 more, and that was only on one side of the house. I was like, that's pretty big. But so we talked about it. And he's like, no. Like I only live with these 2 windows are. Like I don't use the rest of the house. And so I asked him a bit more. I was like, that's strange. And he's like, yeah, well, my grandma used to live here, and then her cousin or her aunt or somebody used to live on the other side. But then she passed away, and so my dad bought everything, and now I have it. And so I was like, oh, okay, that's cool. So that was Marco, and then yeah, at the end we say goodbye, and I wanted to take a picture of him just because I wanted for souvenir, like this is Marco. But I was a bit shy. I was like, I don't know if it's a okay thing to do. And then he asked, he's like, oh, do you have like Facebook, Instagram? I was like, oh yeah, I like Instagram here. So I showed him my Instagram name, and then he's like, selfie. So we took a selfie together. I didn't put it on Instagram just because I don't know how he would feel about it. But I might ask him if he adds me on. I'll ask him if it's okay to put the selfie on. And what else was there? So yeah, that was Marco, and so we said goodbye. A really nice guy. Yeah, he today he was in Milan to do his horse racing. I hope he did well. Although he said it was like a horse that hadn't run in 4 months, so he wasn't expecting to do well. That was Marco. And then yeah, so it means at 7:30 I was starting my day, whereas usually I start them at 10-ish, 9-10. So I just slowly went, and my day at the beginning it looked like there was going to be one big hill, and then the rest of the time was going to be 2 smaller hills and then flat. And right, because Marco yesterday told me about, and I keep forgetting the name of the cyclist, but it's a really famous Italian cyclist, Coppi, something Coppi, Augusto Coppi, or something like Fausto Coppi. There we go, Fausto Coppi. He told me about Fausto Coppi, and I didn't know anything about Fausto Coppi. And so, but my dad does. I asked my dad, do you know Fausto Coppi? Yes, Fausto Coppi. And he told me all about, he said, yeah, no, he's a really famous Italian cyclist. So So I was like, okay. And so I went to his birthplace, his birth town, which was like in the general direction. It was really not too far. It was on top of the hill though. That was the big hill. So I went to Fausto Coppi's birthplace, and he was born in 1919. So it was like the 100th anniversary. And once you get in, it was Fausto Coppi land. Like the name of the town is Castellania, and when you get into town, it says Castellania Coppi. So it just sounds so strange, like have somebody's last name just added to the name of the town just cause. So yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. And then there was his birth house, the house where he was born. So I took a lot of pictures there. And yeah, the whole town had pictures of him and bicycles it was strange actually. There was not a lot of space for bicycles. There were more like pictures of bicycles and things, but not. I don't know. I imagined almost like a bicycle hub could have been a nice idea, like bike racks and bike repair shops and things. No, it was just. But it was a really small town. My guess would be under 500 people, but that would be my estimate. I would think way less than 500 people, but that would be like an approximation. So that was Fausto Coppi's Fausto Coppi land. And then so I saw like, okay, it's downhill from here, and then 2 smaller hills, and then it'll be fine. And I was getting a bit hungry, so I was hoping to find a bakery. I never did find a bakery. Like all the little towns seemed to have nothing. Like it was just houses. So I don't know where they get their food from. Maybe there's a bigger town I just missed. So that was but the smaller hills. So I attacked one. Like going downhill, first of all, was madness. Like it was it almost gave vertigo. Like I was afraid that like if my brakes fell, like faltered, like I don't know what I would do. I'd try to ram into a wall early as possible because there was no way. Yeah, it was quite scary. But no, my brakes were fine. But then the uphill was just as bad. And the first one I was like, oh come on, I can do it. Like I was really trying to pump myself up, and halfway I just stopped and I looked at it. I was like, there's no way I can do this. Like I don't know how, if people do it, but I can't. So I walked it, and then when it started getting a little bit better, I continued on bike, but only when I continued on bike. And then these people who were at the top of the hill hadn't seen me walk most of it, and they were like, oh good job, yeah. So I was like, oh thanks. But yeah, and then I continued on, and the second hill hit, and that was madness as well. So I did most of what I could, and then it got a little flatter before coming like to a really a big really steep part of it. So as it got flatter, I really took my breath, I took it easy, then it started getting steep again. So I was like not sitting down, I was standing up on my bike, on the pedals. And this one lady was walking her dog, and she looks at me and gives me this smile that I think like she knew I was not gonna make it. Like I guess she was just like, oh you poor soul, like good luck. And no, like as soon as I turned the corner and saw what I guess she knew, and it was just impossible. Like I don't know how people do it. Like people in cars were holding on like to that little hold on thing because it was that steep. Yeah, and even when I stopped and tried to push my bike up, and even pushing my bike up made me sweat. Like it was really bad. So yeah, I just walked the rest of the way, and once I got up, I just took a really long time to catching my breath. And then nope, then it was downhill, and I stopped for lunch at a small town. It was quite a nice little town actually, and I stopped at a bicycle pub, BC pub, something like that. There were bikes around, but I don't think anybody was using bikes. I didn't see anybody else using a bike. No, I had a panini there. and just relaxed because the sun was out, so I didn't want to get sunburn. And then around 1:30, just made my way to Pavia, and yeah, I don't think there's not a lot to tell about the road. Like, it was a lot of today was a lot of road, like sharing with cars, so that wasn't that great. Except for the last part getting close to Pavia, then it became cycle roads, which was quite nice. And then in Pavia, like when you enter it, it's actually really kind of cool because there's this covered bridge, like a big bridge, but like it's covered and it's in brick and it's absolutely lovely. And then you can see the Duomo from there. And so I took a picture of it, put it on Instagram. And no, just walked around Pavia. I knew I had time to kill, so I looked around, and then there was these 4 people doing a concert, a piano concert, I guess, for anybody who was willing to listen. And it was strange because it was 2 pianos and 4 people, and they were all playing at the same time, so it made it for a strange effect. But it was really cool, and it was like at the bottom of the Duomo, so it was a really nice scenery as well. No, just walked around Leonardo's Plaza. What else was there? Leonardo's Plaza, a couple of churches that were really nice, the Duomo, which was nice. But no, it was just a nice town, like nothing absolutely exceptional, but yeah, no, it looked really nice to go around. And there didn't seem to be that many tourists. I felt like I was the only one there to like be touring, because everybody was just seemed Italian and seemed to just be going on their own way, and there was like protests and demonstrations and things. So a small one, like it was about, I think there were just 10 ladies that had signs, and I don't really know what they were for or against. But that was Pavia. And then in Pavia I looked at campsites, and I saw one, but it was for trailers, like for camping cars. But I figured, like, if it's for camping cars, I'm sure they have a space for a tent. Like, it's not that bad. And so I came here hoping to convince someone. And when I came here, there were just 3 guys. Like, I came inside. It was just a machine outside. So I came inside, and there were just 3 guys and a dog. Oh, there's somebody parking close to me. 3 guys and a dog, and yeah, one of them was like, "Oh, I'll call the." I tried to speak in Italian and tell him what was going on. He's like, "I'll call the person," and he called, and the person's like, "Yeah, whatever." And so I found a piece of grass, and it's actually quite comfortable grass. And this is where I'm gonna sleep tonight. And this annoying camping car is just making a lot of noise. But yeah, the mosquitoes started coming out, and there's a lot of grasshoppers, and so I think I'm better off just being inside for the moment. On the bright side, like, there's a street light right here, so I can read without using my headlight, and I can, yeah, just enjoy being in the tent. On the other side, there's like this field, and then at the oh, the bells were just ringing. And then there's this really nice looking building over there, on that way. So I think I'll go tomorrow morning. Lucy's expecting me at 11ish, 12ish, and I'm 2 hours away, so I'm really close to Milan. So, oh, he's gonna back up right where I am. Perfect. I'm gonna have a neighbor. But that's about it. Yeah, for today. So I might go visit that tomorrow morning and see what that's about. Alright, that's about it for me. Yeah, today not, oh, no, sorry, to come here actually from Pavia all the way here, so it's in the general direction of Milan. It's all along the canal, and it's really flat, so it's really nice to bike along. And I think it goes all the way to Milan. Like, there's signs posted to get to Milan, so I'm hoping it's gonna be the whole way like that. So I'm kind of looking forward to tomorrow and seeing Lucy. Should be fun. Alright, oh, he stopped now. Perfect. All right. Bye bye.